mean, on the upside is to, as I said, eliminate duplication and eliminate the kind of wasteful spending, really, when somebody has to go through 4 or 5 different application processes at 4 or 5 different agencies, and that nobody has an incentive right now to get people out of nursing homes financially. That is, the payers for nursing homes don't necessarily have an incentive to use cheaper home and community-based services. So ideally, this could be a good thing if it's done right. It could be that the managed care entity, say the health plan in San Mateo, actually does a really good job in following people and saying, we're going to make sure that if you go to a nursing home, it's only for the shortest stay possible and things like that. Hang on a second, I need to just switch phones here. Okay. So this is where IHSS is going to be involved somehow. It may be that it differs from county to county, as I said. Our interest is in guaranteeing that people have the entitlement to IHSS that they have now, and that IHSS dollars are not the way that money is saved. If a plan can save money by reducing nursing home use or reducing acute care hospital use by providing better services in homes, that could be very good. But we want to make sure that it does not threaten our long for entitlement to IHSS. So this is on a longer timeline. It's really even the stakeholder process hasn't started. That will start in, I think, April. And I'm sure that Ika and Kappa and a lot of you will be wanting to be involved in how this plays out. And I'm sorry if this sounds vague, but it's because it's not hooked yet. So I'm going to stop there and take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Deborah. I have 2 questions so far. Let me get the mic to him.
This is Shirley Adams. I'm from Orange County. And if it'll give anybody some peace of mind, I think Orange County is already involved in this, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing. It works.
Good. That's good to hear.
Okay, and then I have one back here. This will be a familiar voice for you.
Morning, Deborah. It's Fran Smith from the Public Authority in Yolo.
Hi, Fran.
I want to thank you. I think everybody in the room wants to thank you for your good work on saving IHSS this year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and all the advocacy that Ika did and Kappa did, and those of you who are in the room. And I know it's not perfect, but I hope it's something we can all live with, and it certainly is a lot better than what we started with. Thank you for all your work.
You know, Deborah, I'm a Methodist, and we work towards perfection, so we can keep working towards perfection. But my question for you is, the theme of this whole conference is preserving consumer choice.
Yes.
Stakeholder group is going to be working on that to preserve consumer choice about the services they get? That's the question.
What was the first part of it? Is the stakeholders?
Will the stakeholder group be focusing on how to preserve consumer choice in services?
Oh, well, we'll certainly make that part of it. I mean, that's, all of us who care about this will try to preserve everything we can that's sacred about the IHSS program, including consumer choice. And, that is our highest value. And just to go back to the current situation with IHSS, that one of the great, and to me, really, I have to say, astounding provisions where we ended up in IHSS is that even though there's, a longer list of disqualifying crimes, the fact that consumers get to waive the list and hire anybody they want to, I think, is recognition on the part of the legislature and this administration of the importance of consumer choice in IHSS and how precious it is. And I wouldn't have believed a month ago if you had told me we would get that it would be in it. So it's kind of heartening for me. That doesn't mean we may not have an uphill battle. I think not so much in San Mateo and Orange counties, where I don't sense that they have any particular desire or intention to do anything to interfere with consumer choice in IHSS. I think in those two counties, at least, they want to preserve what's good about it.
Thank you. So thank you, John.
Thanks, Deborah. Another familiar voice.
Deborah Herb-Meyer from IHSS Marin County.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah, the original legislation, I think, was AB 1682, established the IHSS program, and I don't understand why there's fear now that the IHSS program would be terminated or anything. That's phase one of the questions I have. And second question I have is, with the current elections coming up, with the choices we have between Jerry Brown and Meg, do you have any thoughts there as a lobbyist as to how you feel they feel about these questions?
Oh, Herb, you troublemaker, you. Going back to your first question, nobody is discussing doing away with IHSS, so I want to make that very clear. The entitlement to IHSS is still in California law. It is still a voluntary program on the part of states. So we're not talking about doing away with IHSS. What we're talking about in these pilots is how to integrate personal assistance services, or IHSS, with the rest of long-term care. And give you a for instance here. Counties, as you know, share in the cost of IHSS. They don't share in the cost of nursing homes. There are some people who believe that if counties had to share in the cost of nursing homes, they would have an incentive to get people out of nursing homes and keep them at home, or that whatever entity was at risk, as it's called, had the financial responsibility for long-term care would make better choices than are made now. And I am, and my organization is, absolutely in support of what's called an integrated long-term care budget, as long as it's got a absolute preference for home and community-based services. I think that there is a lot of potential in integrating all the funds for long-term care in one pot, as long as I said, the legislative, the preferences for home and community-based services, because we're spending a lot of money on nursing homes and other institutions for people who could be living in the community. And so that's where the strength of, this is the possible real upside of having long-term care integration. The reason we fought it in the past was because we didn't want, especially a for-profit entity, to get its hands on IHSS money and somehow use that as savings. But I don't want anybody to think that anybody is talking about doing away with personal assistance services or IHSS. I've never heard anybody even mention that. So let's not go there. On the election, I think you probably heard Meg Whitman talking about attacking social services programs and fraud, waste, and abuse, and naming IHSS. So, enough said.
Okay, Deborah, I've been given strict instructions to wrap up, and also Donna Kalame says she has a very short question.
Yes, Deborah, even though we just talked on the phone, I hold you responsible for me getting a cold.
I have one too.
I know. Picking up on what you just said, I just wanted to make clear to people in the room, and I want to be sure I'm clear in my own mind. One of the positives then with the integration of funding would be that, for example, some things that might not be covered by IHSS now or other long-term services and supports might be covered when it's integrated. For example,
That's exactly right, Donna. Thank you.
right.
Yeah.
So, for instance, home modifications or assisting with some rent at some point or things like that, right?
That's exactly right. Thank you for bringing that up. And that's one of the possible strengths of this, that if you can save money, you know, they're not going to be getting extra money for doing this. So money will have to be saved from somewhere to provide those extra services. And historically, our concern has been that the savings will not come from IHSS. And if they can come from somewhere else, you're absolutely right that the entities, the managed care entities, whoever's administrating this, and it doesn't have to be for managed care, we could do integration without managed care, could provide services that are not now provided because they would have savings from acute care or institutional long-term care. So thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, I've been told to wrap up. I want to say to Deborah how much we appreciate what you've done and making an effort to make this work. I want to tell you that in this room there's about 60 people, and from what I know about the registration at the conference, this is one of the most popular breakout sessions right now, so there's a lot of interest in this, and you've done a really nice job of helping us understand it. So thank you, Deborah.
Oh, thank you very much, all of you, and I will have a fact sheet posted on the waivers. I hope within a couple of weeks that we'll go over all the information that I just gave you, and you all know how to reach me. So feel free to send an email if there's something I can help with, and enjoy the rest of your day there.
Deborah, what is your website address?
Oh, disabilityrightsea.org.
Thank you.
All right, John and everybody, thank you so much. Bye-bye.